and welcome back to another episode of Twisted Pair. I'm one of your hosts, Damon. Today we're going to be talking about sirens, how to make them quiet, how to prevent hearing damage. So let's get going into the show. One of the hazards of being an upfitter in the emergency responder industry is potential for hearing damage. We frequently find ourselves in shops where we've got sirens blasting at 140 decibels. And obviously, the closer you get to it, the worse it can be for your hearing. And a lot of times it does hurt. I mean, just being in that shop, constantly hearing it over and over, even if you are at a distance, it's going to cause hearing damage. So one of the techniques to prevent that is to attenuate the siren by installing a siren resistor. Now we've got Matt in the shop today, and he's going to do a walkthrough on how to build your own resistor or create like a resistor loop that you can put in and take out as needed during a build of an emergency responder's vehicle.
So, yeah, Damon, I'm here at a secret test facility, which may or may not be down the road from my house. And I came here because testing a siren in my neighborhood or in my garage is really not a good plan. So I like to get away from everybody because the siren makes a lot of noise. You want to wear some hearing protection. And frankly, there's got to be a better way, because testing the siren and losing your hearing is not a good plan. All right, let's get into this. Welcome back to the workbench. So in front of me, I've got a sound off signal 400 series console knob siren and a sound off signal 100J 100 watt speaker. Now this is a 200 amp siren system, so it is capable of supporting two speakers. However, we're only going to deal with one. If I were to fire this up right now, you can see that I have the speaker directly connected to the siren. It's going to be brutally loud because I'm in an enclosed space indoors and I'm standing about 2 feet away from the speaker. So that seems like a really bad idea. That doesn't seem very hearing safe. And let's go ahead and do it anyways. If I want to quiet the siren for the testing, how might I do it? Well, there's a few obvious methods that some of you are probably using. The first of which might be, let's put on some hearing protection. Here I have some standard shooting type earmuffs and some foam earplugs that you would insert into your ears. Either of these alone or preferably in combination will protect your hearing from the siren tone, and it will do so very effectively. But here's the issue. You're working in a shop. Do all the other people in the shop have the same hearing protection? Did you give them time to put it on? Are they actually wearing it properly? How much are you interfering with their work? Can they even find the hearing protection? And what if you have to communicate with a customer you're trying to explain this stuff and you're both wearing hearing protection? Not going to go well. Although it is easy to grab and simple to implement, it may not be handy or the best method. So let's put these aside. Another common method, foam and duct tape. Now don't laugh, foam and duct tape can fix a lot of things. In this case, what I'm talking about is simply taking the siren speaker, wrapping it in foam, and I would have done another layer here, and then taping it all up in order to muffle the siren tone. Now, that will work to an extent. It won't be, you won't know that you can repeat the result from speaker to speaker, and it's a little bit of a hassle, especially if the speaker's already installed on the vehicle or if it's behind the grill. That's not going to be effective. So here's the answer. This is the one I prefer. Now, the first thing to know is that sound off signal siren products use a standard siren plug. We've been using this plug for a long time. And what's great about this plug is it's a standalone connection, meaning that I don't have my siren leads in another connector. So it makes it really easy to add an interrupt type harness. And let me show you that here in just a second. First, how are we going to quiet the siren? What's the method? Well, the method is really simple. It's inexpensive and it's easy to use, and it's called a resistor. Now, what a resistor does is it adds resistance to a circuit. And in this case, by adding resistance to the siren speaker circuit, it will result in a quieter output. It will reduce the wattage of the speaker output down to a hearing safe level. Now, you can't just grab any resistor. You'll need something in the 500 ohm-ish range, and ideally a 500 ohm 5-watt resistor, such as this one, which is a Zycon ceramic resistor with the 2 flying leads. And this simply goes in line in the circuit on one of the siren leads, and doing that is all you need to do to quiet the siren. Now, obviously, to add this, we're going to have to cut some wires, solder it in, heat shrink everything, and that isn't an ideal test setup, and it's also permanent unless you reverse all that work that you just did and take it back out. So not ideal for on-the-fly testing. Instead of this, what I really like is something I just recently discovered, and that is this Little Fuse product. Now, this is a 500 ohm half-watt resistor, so it's not quite as effective as the one I just showed you, but it's certainly effective enough to reduce the siren volume down to a hearing safe level. What's great about this is that it is in a mini fuse format, meaning I can take a mini fuse holder such as this, and I could take out the fuse, in this case a 20 amp, and this will go right back in and work just exactly like I need it to work to reduce the siren volume. Now, what I've created, and the reason we made this video to share with you, is this. This is an interrupt harness, or what I'm starting to call a siren silencer. And the way this works, taking advantage of the sound off signal siren connection method, is that I unplug my speaker, I plug this sucker in line. Just that simple. No need to cut wires, no need to make a splice connection, no need to cut zip ties probably, and listen. Now, what I like about this is the tone is accurate to what it's going to sound like at full volume. It's just not as intense, so the customer will be able to tell the subtle differences between the different air horns or the various siren tone options that you actually have to play with. Well, there you go, gang. Another Twisted Pair tech tip. Thanks for joining me here in the shop. And remember, protecting your hearing is a best practice. Damon, back to you.
So Matt did a real good job explaining how to attenuate the siren with a resistor. It's really important. Hearing damage, it's not a joke. You can get tinnitus, you could have a permanent ringing in your ears. So it's imperative that you use something like a siren resistor. And there's all kinds of different ones you can use, but Matt gave you a good example of a starting place. So I think that's all we've got for today. So till next time.